don't I feel like I haven't in a long time. Like I can experience difficult astrology without feeling like
Mm-hmm.
dark.
Personalized by it?
Yeah, or like even if I feel personalized by it, I'm not like I don't know, like I went into like a bit of like a depression.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the astrology this weekend, I wrote a little bit about this on Instagram. It's really heavy. So Venus opposite Saturn and Neptune and Virgo Pisces. So there's a kind of coming to a head about m- maybe finances or relationship stuff or feminine energy hitting a wall around it and needing to take new levels of responsibility. What do you say?
You are speaking to my
Yeah.
soul.
Yeah, it was really heavy. And then so Venus in about an hour is going to cross into Libra, and it's still going
Mm.
to be opposing, but it's going to be in Libra, which is it's in its home sign.
Ugh,
Venus in Virgo is not in its home sign. And then Mars is in its home sign in Scorpio conjunct Mercury. So that is in Scorpio, right? So that's that kind of diving deep. And then Pluto tonight, 10 p.m. Nashville time, Central time, stations direct. So there's a gathering storm, uh, and it's pretty wild. So there's the potential for a kind of pivot or catharsis, but this weekend was heavy as shit.
I
But
like the fuck. Like I was first of all, it was all the things like I was having this like reckoning with my feminine energy,
Mhm.
being pregnant, coming up against the wall of like my physical limitations,
Yeah.
realizing reframing the limitation as like, okay, how do I re-nourish this? How do I redirect this energy? How do I like come into new contact
Mhm.
with feminine? Because I can't like not be pregnant right now. There's no like getting out, you know?
Mhm.
No,
Yep.
it's to work with it, not against it. And then there was like butting up the head with me and Tyler because I was just like being a fucking bitch.
Mhm.
It was pissing me off.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even doing anything wrong, but it was like this sense of like, you don't get it. But it was because I was needing to like connect with. Like I woke up this morning and wrote in my journal. I was like, I have to stop
Yeah.
to get my problem solved by another person and stop trying to like make him understand because I don't even really understand it myself. So like instead of putting it to my relationship, putting it to my relationship to myself and then bringing my like self that is connected back to my relationship.
I mean, that's it right there.
But it was like
Right there.
it's like it was like I'm not like a bitchy partner. Do you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
he's really weird that you're feeling so like annoyed with me because like I don't know what I'm doing wrong and this isn't really like your personality. And I was just like, I'm just so uncomfortable
Mhm.
and out of sync with my own feminine energy that I
Yeah.
don't like even interact with you.
Yeah. And but you journaled through it I think that the thing is, it's like there's no solution to it.
Yeah. It's just moving through it. And that's what I said to him. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, you're right. Like you don't deserve to be treated like this. But I can't not be this like dark hole right now. So I don't
Mhm.
know. I'm
Mhm.
just trying to like
Well, you're ruled by Pluto.
yeah, okay, so this is I wanted to talk about the Pluto thing because I feel like all the things you said make sense with the more inner planets, but I was really curious about the Pluto thing because today, like I felt a marked shift
Mhm.
in even just waking up, going in the journal. I like did some work, went to Pilates, like the whole I've been feeling this like intense pressure kind of the last like since I've become pregnant. And
Mhm.
I know it's not just the pregnancy, it's the timing as well. But I'm curious what how Pluto is affecting us as a collective because we're also the Pluto and Scorpio generation.
You are.
Oh, you're
I'm
not?
Pluto and Libra.
Oh.
Fun times.
Wait, why is it different?
Square my moon, conjunct Mercury in my chart. Because Pluto in Libra is, I mean, I didn't grow up with divorced parents, but that's often a period where like rel- eh, people who were born during Pluto and Libra or during Pluto Libra time, relationships got reworked. So a lot of the shadow stuff shows up in um relationship and power dynamics in relationship.
Got it.
Pluto and Scorpio is like the deeper dive of it, but it's more about the sexual shadow than the just flat out relating.
Got it. So talk to me about like Pluto being retrograde and now going direct and how that's like part of this whole I mean, I'm just such an astrology geek for this time, especially because it feels like so it's so incredibly potent for this like changing of the guards that we all kind of feel.
Hmm. Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
there's like direct correlation between the collective and the personal. And they're
Hmm.
but right now it just feels like I was wanting to make a video about this last night, but I was too depressed and dark to actually bother to turn my phone on. But like, I feel like this astrology right now is just like, it's literally reaching in and like ripping out all of our core and be like, what are you going to do with this material? And like,
Yeah. I
I've
have
learned
a
what
hundred,
you learned.
100%. I had this dream last night that, I was like on some kind of, I was heading to some kind of retreat to India,
Mm,
but the retreat was going to be really, really ascetic, like really in denial of, um, like not focused on pleasure, but more focused on chop wood, carry water, like ultra simplicity, ultra. And I had to, my seat was like not even a seat. It was like the floor of the plane.
okay.
And that's like energetically how, like, it almost feels like I'm meant to like strip everything
Mm.
to get very, I've never been to India, but to get very,
And you're
um,
because you're very much against traveling outside the US right now.
right now. And I don't want, I just don't want to get on a plane anywhere,
I feel you.
you know? Or yeah, I don't want to go outside the US right now. But, and it was just, it was interesting because it was like delayed in the plane taking off, but I feel like that's maybe more because this the Venus opposite Virgo. I mean, the Venus and Virgo opposite Saturn, Neptune is directly on my Sun Saturn conjunction. So
Mm,
it's been a fun time. But the Pluto is related. So there's a difference between positional power and personal power. In
okay.
our culture, we have tended to exalt positional power over personal power, right? And by personal power, I mean like holding steady in one's convictions and living one's convictions, no matter the consequences. You and your choice and how you've lived your life, right? In terms of what happened with that. So retrograde and you sticking to yourself, me making the same choice and sticking to that for myself. That's
Mm,
personal power,
yeah.
right? Positional power is something that we've kind of exalted, right? And in Pluto in Aquarius, so it's going direct at 1 degree Aquarius. So Aquarius is paradoxical because it's all about the collective, but also about the individual.
Mm,
So, how much power do we give the collective versus how much power do we give individual agency and innovation, and also the shadow of technology? I keep suddenly reading all these things about the bubble bursting on AI. I like worse than the dot-com bubble, the
mm.
first Amazon. I don't know if that's true, but I think it's interesting that suddenly with Pluto stationing direct, I'm seeing a lot of that. And I don't think it's just my algorithm because my algorithm is so broad. Um, so on a personal
Like
level,
like people are writing that like what's the bubble
like
burst?
basically it's inflated, its value is inflated.
I okay, okay, okay.
And that it's a bubble and it's gonna burst and it, it's not gonna bring the revenue for these giant tech companies that people think it's gonna bring.
I mean, remember when like everyone thought like NFTs was the future?
Oh my God. Oh
Like
my God.
300
Yes, yes.
or like
I feel like there's this collective back to like the power of community and community org, right? So on a personal level, it's where it's is Pluto hitting anything in your personal chart? Where is it hitting? Where is 1 degree Aquarius? All of that. But it's all about personal power versus collective power
mhm.
and personal power versus peer pressure or positional power.
Mhm.
There's a kind of, David Goliath thing, one could say. But it's interesting that, so in an hour or less than an hour now, when Venus moves
I love that we're
into,
doing it, like, at the
in
exact
real time, in real time,
yeah.
when Venus moves into Libra, it's going to catch a trine from Uranus and Pluto. It's going to form a grand trine in air.
Mm,
Uranus is innovative. So Uranus is 1 degree Gemini right now. And then Pluto might be 0 degrees Gemini. And then Pluto is 1 degree Aquarius. So they form a grand air trine. And Venus is in its home sign in Libra. And
mm,
Venus is diplomacy and negotiation, right? So the Pluto stationing direct with that feels really significant. For example, the Middle East peace deal. Like feels really like hitting the wall, the Venus, the Saturn Neptune thing, and then the Pluto stationing direct. So that feels significant in that way. But on a personal, it's going to be felt differently. Does one have strong Scorpio? Because Pluto rules Scorpio. So anytime, whether Scorpio is your rising sign or it's your sun sign or it's your moon sign, you're going to feel Pluto stationing more than most.
mhm,
And
mm,
it's again like Pluto is a deeply magnetic sign. It's a deeply potent and powerful sign. So it's like, how do you wield that? And there's to whom much is given, much is expected is not just about financial resources. It's also personal power.
yeah. I think that's interesting, this, like, crossroads of personal power and positional power, like, that's a very interesting framework because I think that this is actually what I was kind of journaling about this morning and what I feel like I'm called. I haven't journaled in so long
Mhm.
because
You have a
I
toddler.
I have a toddler and I'm, juggling 800 balls and whatever, but coming back to, like, what's important, which is personal power is resourced from within.
100%. Yes.
Part of, I think, the anxiety and stress that I've been feeling over the past whatever time
Mhm.
is that I've been neglecting to just cultivate. Even I literally have this. It's 15 minutes, and I just
Amazing.
did my 15-minute
Pretty.
and I love that my friend gave that to me for my birthday. But, the point is it doesn't actually take that much time to
Also, it's the month before your birthday.
yeah,
That's
but
always potent.
that's always a thing and, whatever. But it's more about the fact that, like, we even someone like me who is, uh the inner work is my life and my joy
Mhm.
and focus of my reality, even though I want outer success and have had it and enjoy that
Mhm.
and that stuff. Sometimes I think I'm doing the inner work
Mhm.
when I'm neglecting it,
Mhm.
and it's always
Mhm.
in that space of neglect
Yeah.
that I get, um, where my personal power lies, and I am
Mhm.
accidentally looking for positional power.
That's amazingly self-aware and astute. I do think there's something, you know, with the shift, and we talked about this a little bit last week, with the shift that's incoming around fire and air. I think there is something about this obsession with ease, which feels Piscean. No, it should just
Mm,
be easy. It should be flow.
mhm,
Versus, I do think that God brings us challenges so we can know Him.
mm,
Like to me, there's a relationship between the deep inner knowing and relationship that the body, the vessel is temporary,
mm,
but it's our spirit that's most called to be strengthened. And I
y
relate that to personal power.
mhm,
So it's like when things feel like people are so afraid of Saturn, for example, or Pluto, but both of those planets in particular, I feel like are spiritually, in the truest sense of the word, purposeful, in that they can bring delay, frustration, or real alchemical transformation or loss in order to know the opposite of that, in order to know, like, what it feels like to, I guess grace would be the word. But I think that
Mhm.
there is something, we're so ready to jump to the ease, but what you just described is like, we need to come up against ourselves to know when we are far from ourselves.
Exactly. And, like, it's that, like I said, like, I'm not like a I don't identify with, words like depression or anxiety, like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we've talked about this, but culturally, like, when we say we have depression or we have anxiety or we have ADHD or we have bipolar or whatever, we are becoming the thing, and we were making it more solidified instead of
Right,
being
of experiencing it. Like, I'm
experience.
experiencing depression right now. But also depression, again, it's like, and I say this, coming from a family and having definitely bouts that have been really dark and somber, and I think it's all purposeful in in examining one's life. Like, I
Well, the
don't think you cannot have I don't think you can move through this world in a thoughtful way without experiencing that.
exactly, and that's what I was about to say. It's like, I'm grateful, even though this weekend I was like, "What in the actual, like, fuck
Mhm.
is," like, and, going for a walk, and, like, I literally, like, cooked for, like, 4 hours because I was just like, I have to do stuff
Yeah,
that's nourishing, expansive, makes me just connect, and I think
yeah.
that's when I'm in that state of depression or the darkness that I was feeling, it was because I even this morning coming out of it was like, it's coming from a state of disconnect internally.
I think that's such beautiful and profound self-awareness. It's interesting because we kind of had a similar weekend.
Really?
Yeah, and then I woke up this morning, I mean, the piece still definitely had an emotion. I was emotionally affected by that, but just
Mhm,
overall, I felt like, "Oh, okay, okay, I see ways to move through this." And, like, before we got on this call, I was like, I dropped my sister off at the airport to go home because 'cause she'd come visit me for the weekend, and I, like, went on a kind of clearing spree. Like, all of a sudden, I was clearing out junk drawers and clearing
mhm,
out stacks of papers, and that usually comes when I've had the beginning of the shift,
mhm. To
right? I can't force that. Like, I just see, "Oh, shit's piling up," and then, I don't know, something shifts, and I go, "Okay, I'm gonna tackle this now."
Mhm. I also think it's more of an extension of, like, what we were talking about. I mean, we've been talking about what's happening the past few weeks of just, like, kind of this stepping into a new space with
Mhm.
ourselves,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think that and we talked about, okay, now what are you gonna do about it? Like, that being the astrological kind of ask. And like you just said, we have this desire and this kind of handicap in our society, of ease because everything is so convenient. And,
Mhm.
I suffer from this because I'm like, m- mentally, I'm 17 steps ahead of where I want to go and what I want to be doing.
Mhm.
Physical reality is like dense and isn't like that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
my spirit can move like into 2 years from now. And then I'm like, well, why am I still stuck, here?
Yeah.
But that's also part of the lesson and part of the now and coming into present. And I think the feminine energy also like is what beckons us into this, into our bodies and
Yeah.
saying, "Okay, well, how having the presence and the patience to be where you are and to nourish your body and to connect with your spirit and to clear your space and to just take kind of like necessary, boring Saturn like steps into
Or even Virgo-like steps, like
right.
tiny, mundane, quotidian, chop wood, carry water.
Into the building,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
something that I've been thinking about a lot is like faith too. Like this idea of faith, like, okay, everyone says they have faith until they have to have faith. And then all of a sudden their faith is gone because you need you need faith only matters when you don't know what's happening. It's
Yes.
like spiritual when everything's going great, but when you're building or when things are challenging or when you don't know the future, where you're in a transition, like that's when your like faith and is the most important and when it's the easiest to lose.
That's so fun. Again, that's like that was so much of what was coming up for me this weekend, or what I was like, I'm in a really kind of tight position, and I am this is a trust walk. Like, this is
Exactly.
a trust walk along with me looking at self-defeating behaviors.
Hmm.
It's like, it's not just, "Oh, I hand faith over and I'm just in surrender." It's like, I also have to clean up some stuff.
Hmm.
It's a
And take
it's not
inventory, to be
That's what
honest.
I'm saying. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's like I was really brought to my knees this week around some of my avoidant escapist behavior. And I was like, no, I can look this straight in the eye. And in looking it in this straight in the eye, I gained faith
Exactly.
because I wasn't denying it. I wasn't excusing it. I was like, it's a mix of, I brought this on myself, and also circumstances, and how am I going to change my behavior in ways that need to be changed? Inventory. And also and also recognizing, life is remembering and forgetting and giving myself grace, and it's like
It's
the
fine.
whole thing, you know but it also necessitated me taking real personal responsibility, and that, maybe it's because I'm so Saturnine, I don't, but that felt good. That was like, okay, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, it feels good because taking responsibility makes you realize that, like, you do have the personal power and you've had it the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
time. And in the times that you haven't risen to the occasion or the times that you've, I'll say for myself, like abandoned myself
Yeah.
or dodged or any of those things, I don't blame myself because that's just who I was at that time. And that's the lessons that I was learning then.
Mhm.
But taking responsibility for that now also gives you the gift of realizing that you don't have to move forward with that type of behavior because you would continue to choose it and you don't have to continue to choose it.
Exactly.
And I agree. I think that's so empowering. And I think that also ties into the whole like no victims, only volunteers thing that we were talking about because
Yeah.
when it comes down to you, yes, it's annoying because sometimes I'm like, "Ugh, why do I have to keep doing so much fucking
Uh-huh.
like fucking pisses me
Yeah.
off. Oh my
Uh-huh.
God. When am I just gonna like hop on the train and it's gonna take me to Success Town? You know what I mean? Like, like
But the thing is, like, it's all peaks and valleys, right? Because even people who experience success, however you want to define that, the train makes stops, the train derails. Like, it's not a bullet train.
it's also a
Detours are part of it.
it's also a reframing of like what success even
Yeah.
is
Uh-huh.
and kind of pulling back and like even looking at your own life from a further perspective to see like, okay, yeah, maybe this part wasn't exactly what I would have loved to have how I don't want to show up like that now or this part, like, why was it so icky? But then there was this whole other part that like the
Yeah.
society didn't tell me to uplift because it doesn't value this as work. But like all of the work that we're talking about, all of like the inner work, all of the cultivation of relationship, all of the cultivation of friendship, of home, all of that, like these are beautiful things that you and I both place a lot of value on. That is our own value, not an external value. And I
Yeah.
think the reminder, like you said, you constantly have to keep reminding yourself of that because even though you can know that, sometimes it it's like this sickness that we all have where we just focus on what isn't instead of what is. And that's what it helps us grow in a way because then we have to nourish other parts of our garden. But at the same time, we have to hold the parts that are whole within us in moving forward in that.
Yeah, and I also think, both of us have, you even more so with children, but like have increased our responsibilities to people outside of us,
Yeah.
or, things outside of us, or like, and I think there is something about that too, that can be deeply empowering. Like, I think this idea, which is also a Pluto and Aquarius thing, like shadow around, um, like, they say, like, there's no free lunch, like nothing is actually free. Somewhat the
Mhm.
bill is gonna come due. It's the same thing around freedom. Like, what does that actually mean, right? It's like, I remember, when I have clients and they'll say, and they live in America and I say, okay, what are the values that are most important to you? And I'll say, freedom. Okay, you have it. What are you going to do with it?
Mhm.
It's like, freedom is the ability to choose into our responsibilities, or a perspective around responsibilities that we have. It's not void of all responsibilities.
Also, like, a lot of people I notice, like, don't really take the freedom that they actually have. Like, I'll give an example. Okay, like, being pregnant and
Mhm.
and childbirth, like, there's a conventional wisdom around that, and then there's the outside of the box, more like midwifery model.
Yeah.
And when you go into the midwifery model, you realize that, like, a lot of the things that you're told that you have to do, like, you don't have to do. And, like, I was talking to my friend at Pilates this morning, and she was like, "I'm going to get my anatomy scan this morning." I'm like, "That's amazing." And she's like, "But, like, do I have to?" And I just was like, "There's nothing that you have to do."
Right. And I think that is, but I
Like, it's your
don't think
choice. You
most people actually want freedom. I think it's much easier to be told what to do.
Yeah.
It's in a way an easier path. It's why peer pressure is so effective,
Mhm.
right? There's great responsibility that comes with freedom. I think about that all the time in terms of this country when, you know, people will shit on the military, and I'm like, freedom ain't free. Like, how do you think you get to live the life that you give? I'm not talking about unnecessary wars. I'm talking about like what built this country and when
Mhm.
it's really like this idea that, oh, it should just, I'm entitled. Like, I wrote on Instagram about this. It actually, a lot of people responded to it. The most freedom I've ever felt is when I realized I wasn't entitled to anything.
Mm, mhm.
Everything becomes a blessing.
Mhm.
When you really are like, every why am I entitled to this more than someone no, it's all grace and
Every
blessing. The
spoiled girl from New York realizes that they aren't entitled at some point in their life, and it is
yes, but it really is like, it is the most liberating thing because it's the humility that comes with that then opens all kinds of perspectives. Whereas actually, to me, the biggest trap is entitlement.
Mhm.
Literally the biggest trap.
Mhm. It closes you off.
Completely. And it's really, it's like, so I think there's something over what between now and 2044. What is that? 19 years
2044, dear God.
with Pluto in Aquarius. I think we're going to look at all avenues of this, of like what it all means.
I was just about to ask you how long the Pluto transit is.
2044.
Wait, we're
2044.
gonna be so fucking old?
Yeah. 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 That's exactly it. Saturn is in Aries. I think 2027 it starts to move. It's usually just over 2 years. So we'll start to move. And we had a brief experience of Saturn in Aries already. I think it's 2027.
So
We'll move it north.
what's your, like, I mean, yeah, I guess I have the first thing that I'm wanting to say is that I know this is partially my algorithm, and by the way, like, I think we should all just kind of, like, every day have a collective breath where we acknowledge that, like, the world is not our algorithm. The
Yes.
the
That's why
funniest
drive across America. There's a meme that's going around like, if you want to hate America, watch the news. If you want to love it, drive across it.
it's the truth. Like, I felt that so deeply. But no, this is a perfect example. So, like, Taylor Swift, your new favorite rock star, came out with a new album. Oh, I know.
Is she even a rock star? No,
She's a
by the way, I discovered this band that I love called Bears Den. Do you know them?
mm-mm.
Oh my god, I love that's more my sound, but I think she's amazing is
No, I know.
probably my sound.
Like,
Okay, but anyway, what were you gonna say?
it's my bit with you that you're like a Swiftie now. I like it's hilarious to me. Um, but but anyways, she came out with a new album, right? And like on my algorithm, it was like it was the worst thing that's ever come out. And on my algorithm, who is like way more like she doesn't go down the rabbit hole at
Yeah,
all. Her algorithm, it's like this is one of Taylor Swift's like greatest albums of all
Rolling
time.
Stone 5 stars,
Yeah, and so we're
literally.
like texting each other back and forth, like because I go, well, what do you think of the album? I know you're a huge Swiftie, and I'm like, on my algorithm, it's getting panned. I hadn't listened yet,
Yeah,
and I have not experienced any of that. Flooding me with like so many positive Taylor Swift reviews. And it was like the fucking like funniest, dumbest representation of like how we
100%.
live in like two different worlds. So then I was sending her my reviews and then we were
Yeah,
just like, we're not fighting about it. We're just
yeah,
like, whoa, like this is head.
yes,
And I was like, whoa, I'm having this crazy, like even first of all, like my algorithm is so demented because I go down the rabbit hole way too much. So like right now, my algorithm, this is what I was gonna get into with you
is it
again.
all conspiracy theory?
It's dark. Okay. Right now, it's, like, all about, like, digital ID.
Yes, very Pluto and Aquarius.
I know, and so I'm like
If you wanna go to Europe, you're gonna have to get a biometric scan.
so it's not even a conspiracy theory, though. It's,
No,
like,
no, no,
what's
that's real. UK, I think, definitely the EU.
no, the EU, like, every country I wanna go to has agreed to it.
South America, I am telling you, it's
No, I know,
go to
it's
Buenos Aires if you want a European city.
I
It's
love South
amazing.
America. I love it so
Must
much, but they're not doing it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Are we gonna do it?
I don't know, it's a good question. Mm, I think it's much hard Europeans tend to fall in line, sorry, Europe, much more than Americans do.
I know they do. Well,
They
I was
just look at history.
like, well, it's the inception of America was rebellion.
Exactly, and it was also economic rebellion, people forget that, but, and the Civil War was also economic too, but people forget that, right? So that American ethos, I just don't think it's going to surrender. Look what happened with COVID.
Exactly.
So, you had a lot more pushback here than anywhere else.
Mm,
So, no, I'm not as concerned about it here. I know people are really concerned about a second lockdown.
yeah. Well, Fauci was just on, like, some press conference talking about the next pandemic being imminent.
Are you gonna move here if that happens?
I'm like, "How are you not in jail?"
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's really
Like,
unbelievable.
he should
How
be
is
in
he not
jail.
in jail for what happened during the AIDS crisis? Like, I
Exactly.
don't understand. Like, I just don't even understand that. Um, yeah, I think it, it I'm not as concerned about it being on a national issue as a national rollout here. And maybe that's naive, but I think our court system and our states' rights versus federal is too strong. And I think too many people pushed back during COVID in
You know,
America.
one of the big predictions of Pluto and Aquarius, from some of my astrologer friends, which I'm starting to kind of see and I
Mhm.
feel is that, like,
Hi, Luna.
actually in, like, a certain amount of years, the federal government won't be what it is at all, and will only be state government. Like, we're moving back to, like, a federalist.
Do you know that that is like why people have considered me a conservative because I am basically a states' rights
Y
activist. I mean, states' right not activist. I'm not an activist in anything, but I tend to believe in states' rights
yeah.
because, for example, if you liked, and some people obviously can't move, I understand, but if you like Newsom and you like California's policies and you vote him in, I know,
By the way, I don't understand how he's the governor because nobody likes him.
I know so many people that voted for him in the recall.
Like,
Anyway,
because it's because there's no
point
better option.
if you if you want that, you get to stay there. There's people on my feed who are, I feel very strongly about this, who are in California and love Newsom and seem to not have an issue with Karen Bass and want a Democratic supermajority. If they don't like what's happening over there, but they are a Democrat,
That's the problem.
yeah. But anyway, if you want that, you're voting for that. But
Okay.
if I live in Tennessee and I vote differently, or someone in Alabama, like it always, I find it so fascinating when people in California are like, Alabama, but you don't live in Alabama.
Yeah, why do you care?
Why do you care? Because they want the votes to pass. But that's not how the American government works. Like
Yeah.
the whole point is each state gets their representatives. And then you do have gerrymandering and you have all of this. But I think it's like, we have our federal government is incredibly bloated and has become increasingly bloated, and I do think you need some kind of you there needs to be the push pull. I don't think it's all one, but that wouldn't surprise me
Yeah.
if we went that way. I don't think you're going to have a dismantling of because of the military.
But also exactly, but also like it's already happening. Like Trump has already cut so many federal sorry, so many programs like that are national programs.
Right,
And
but then states should be able to build up what works
exactly.
for them and
Exactly.
give the agent. I'm a local power, like I person versus other than military and core safety issues and human rights issues across the board. But I think yeah, I just don't think you governing 330 million people, unless you're in China has way more than us, right? Unless you do a crackdown like that, it's not going to work.
Mhm.
So, well, I mean, we'll see because it's right. We're approaching the Pluto return of the American and French revolutions. But the American Revolution led to America. The French Revolution led to Napoleon.
Right.
You had like, you know, the guillotine, and then you had Napoleon. I'm
But
going with ours. I
like
like ours.
yeah, yeah, ours is way better. But you have like people, it's funny because I kind of see Trump as like chaotic neutral in a way. Like I don't think he's like good and I don't think he's evil. I think it's like there is just like he's just like he's just a agent of chaos in my opinion. More
Gemini Sag. Gemini Sag.
yeah, more than like but you have two different schools of thought where you have the people who are building him up as like the savior and the people who are building him up as a Nazi and it's like that
It's
is
somewhere in between.
yeah.
But I don't believe, what's hagiography? Like, I don't think we should ever exalt I mean, first of all, the president works for us.
The
This is the
president
problem with
no,
like senators, congressmen. They
yeah,
work
yeah.
for us.
No, the presidents work for the Freemasons.
Right? But that's the idea, right? Ideally is that they work for us.
Yeah.
I think um I think that that's the problem though, right? Anytime someone is canonized or demonized, you're missing all the nuance in between.
Mhm.
I think it's very hard for people. I see this. Um, and say to my dad, he like, acknowledging the peace deal and that the
Yeah,
hostages are home.
and I was watching the Israel videos and I was crying.
Yes, it's unbelievable. But
Yeah.
it's like it's like if you have TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, and you just
Mhm.
can't. If everything he does is terrible, or everything he does is amazing, there's no critical thinking.
I'm so curious to talk to some of my because I have this cousin who I love her so much. She's my mom's age and she's kind of like a surrogate to me.
Yeah.
And I sent her this really interesting video, which I thought was like really well just spoken and really well done about the whole Tylenol
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
And which to me personally was like, give us the goods, like give us the vaccine
Mm.
info. Like stop fucking throwing Tylenol in as like this like
Mhm.
distraction. Like, come on, guys. But anyways, the guy did an amazing breakdown. He's like this Harvard educated guy, and he's so articulate. And what he was saying was basically like, if you are unable to see the positive in like this information being revealed just because it's coming from Trump, then like you've kind of lost the plot. You know, you're missing the point. And I was and but the way he said it wasn't like blaming them. It was like
Right.
he's talking about cognitive bias, and he was talking about in a very
Mhm.
intelligent way. I can share it, I'll reshare it, whatever.
Mhm.
I sent it to her and I'm like, I feel like you would really resonate with this because it's like you're kind of in this camp and like maybe you can start to see the cracks in
Mhm.
the Trump hating. And she just wrote back, I just can't see anything he does and not hate it. And I'm like,
I really think there's
but they're
something
so
interesting that's happening
pro,
though, like
but they're so pro Israel that I'm like, and they're very Jewish, you know, so I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm so curious, like, if
I
this,
think it's
if this
cognitive
break,
dissonance. Like, I think, like, my sister was here and she was flying back. She lives near my dad and my parents, and she was like, I'm not even gonna talk about it. She's like, "Actually, he did kind of, kind of acknowledge, you know, that this was monumental." But I think it's like a short circuiting,
hmm
right? And I think that that is emotionally driven. That's not rational.
hmm
And I think that's the thing is like when people get the reason people have always said, like, don't discuss politics and religion. By the way, I don't remember when we were younger, like, you never asked who anybody voted for and people didn't share. Like, where's that?
I know.
Right? But now
Well,
it's like batch of what?
it didn't define you because we didn't live
No,
in a hellscape of identity politics.
no, exactly. It literally is a hellscape. Um, but I do like, so I watched a clip of CNN where I never watched CNN, but I watched it on X, and it, this one of the panelists was responding to Obama's X post on it's not called a tweet anymore, right? It's called like an X about the peace deal, and she was like, "Dude, you can acknowledge Trump in this."
What did he say?
He basically he praised that it was happening, but just gave no credit or anything. Meanwhile, he has enabled Iran and he enabled Iran, whatever. Anyway, my point is people, it's like, I think there is something changing
Mm-hmm.
where not MSNBC, but I do think there is some more neutralization that I'm seeing, like Van Jones
Yeah.
as an example, right? More I would like to see a return to classic liberalism and critical thinking
hmm
and less emotionally driven politics. How does this policy benefit or not benefit constituents?
hmm
Let's look at the pro con. You may fall in one camp, you may fall in another, but let's look at this Supreme Court jurisdiction and say, okay, here's this interpretation, here's this interpretation. What instead of this like these camps, like I believe in this because this is my side. Or I think who's James Lindsay is great, but he writes that we've turned into the friend enemy distinction in politics. Like that's either this person is a friend or an enemy versus like what is the policy, what is
hmm
the issue.
hmm
We've lost that.
hmm
I but I'm weirdly hopeful that there is going to be a return to it, more of it. More of, oh, this is interesting from this perspective, or this is interesting from this perspective. And I was reading all these different perspectives on China, and like I just want I want robust information from all different, and not just people who've never been to China. People
hmm
who are walking it, people who've lived there, people. I have a client, she's American, she lives in China, she loves it. I don't think it'd be for me, but I just want all the different perspectives.
Yeah. So where do you seek your information that's like that you feel is like um I won't even use unbiased, but at least
I
well-rounded?
think it's all biased.
Yeah.
I try and get a very, very wide ranging follow a very wide-ranging number of on the ground journalists
Mhm.
and like people who have different positions, let's say in the State Department, in the, in military people. I really like to get all the perspectives versus a news source. I mean, there's like real news, no bullshit,
Racket
or
news.
upward news, but I tend to look at it from all the angles. I mean, individual, like, because there's not a news source that I know of that I'm like, oh, this is really impartial.
Also, I think, like, there's something that's really important about the humility of saying, like, and also, I don't know." Like, "I read 5 things, and also I don't know," or
Yeah,
the weird this weird, like, uh, pathological need for surety that we have all adapted.
it's insane.
And
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I
part of
want to.
this of our personal reality too, and the work that we're being asked to do, I think right now, going back to the beginning, is like that, like you said, it's a trust fall. Like, there's a connection here, right, between how we project things culturally and how we interact with ourselves personally, and the being able to say we don't know is like a important foundation.
It's really important. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to learn more about like China's supply chains versus our supply chains. And like, I'm digging into this information that I've never really dug into before because it's not a region that has held great interest for me. But I want to learn more. And I'm coming at it from a
Mm,
totally humble place of, you know, my parents and my sisters lived in Hong Kong when they were young, but it was still British then. It changed
mhm,
hands in 99. I know there's been a lot of change there. I do have clients in China, um, and have lived in China, and I'm just curious on the ground versus the, and I understand the ethos is very different, and I am admittedly have a bias, like, I am an American, and my perspective is but I'm just curious in terms of them being a global power without jumping to dramatic emotional responses.
mhm,
What is the reality on the ground there on all levels, like from heads of state down to peasants? What
mm,
is the experience? I
mhm,
know that they have grown, right? So, to me, probably the truest part of me is that I am a really curious nerd, and I just want
mm,
to learn. I don't need to define my identity by it. I am curious.
mhm.
Like, I just learned, and I didn't know this, and I learned this, started from a novel, that that North Korea was abducting people from Japan. Like,
What?
North Koreans had abduct, yeah, in like the 70s, because when North Korea shifted, and like the whole South, the South Korea, North, like, I'm trying to learn much more about that region to educate myself,
Mhm,
right? And even if I were to go there, Chris Arnaud, I talk about him all the time. I love him. If I were to go there, I would probably, if I'm honest, be in a more luxury, or I wouldn't be on the ground in the way. So I try and just learn as much as I can about different regions.
can you find out why the gold prices are surging? Because it's really fucking with my reality.
Why you want to buy earrings?
I wanna buy anything, and I can't.
The price, I think hard assets, right? Isn't that like
It
hard assets? There's a return to hard assets. Like, I don't understand Bitcoin. I don't, like, I want to understand it. Like, I don't really understand it. I think I understand and have a basic grasp around natural resources based on stability of the region. But these are all things that I'm trying to learn more and more and more about,
mm,
without just being like, that's bad. Global supply chains are bad. Are they universally bad? Probably not.
yeah. What is this sound? That
It
in
sounds
your
like Tian. Not to bore people, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know, and I'm not even praising myself. I just don't understand why everything needs to have such an emotional tenor. Like, why can't we just be curious about something?
Well, I mean, curiosity killed the cat, Danny.
That's true. Guess so. But I just, yeah, I'm like, I'm just a nerd at heart that wants to.
I do think that if we could all just like celebrate curiosity and wanting to know and wanting to learn and wanting to be more clear, and that could be like our shared value, then maybe we could start to chip away at the divisiveness, because to me that is such a big part of how like my stability of my life kind of went away, is because from the beginning like I was just curious, like I'm the hermit um investigator, in human design. So it's like I'm just like you, like the
That's
curious
6-1. What is that?
5-1.
5-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hermit, heretic investigator.
Oh, heretic. I was like, hermit.
No, I'm not a hermit. That's not
I
me.
was like, that doesn't sound like you.
No, no. But the point is that the curiosity is what like got me into trouble. And
Uh,
and
yeah.
that I think is kind of a problem, and why we've seen this explosion of conspiracy theories as well, because it's like a rebellion against people saying you're not allowed to be curious. And I find that to be very fascinating. And that article that I sent you, did I read that? Did you read that Edward Snowden article about
No,
conspiracy?
I haven't read it yet because my sister was here and it was, but I'm gonna read that.
It's an incredible article, and I highly recommend. I'll post it for you guys. But it was kind of interesting because Edward Snowden like literally revealed a actual conspiracy,
Yeah.
and then people were trying to like dig deeper and find conspiracy on conspiracy about him, and he was just kind of like, I literally handed you like the biggest conspiracy of our generation, and it's like not enough for you. And I think it's because it's this reaction, and it's just this feeling that we all feel where we're like, we're supposed to just like fall in line. And so it kind of makes us push back and be like, no, I want to like dig deeper. And sometimes like there is a there, and sometimes there isn't a there. But like the act of actually doing it, I think is a good thing. And if we gave ourselves the grace to like give each other that, then we could find common ground more easily and not have to go into all these crazy corners and of conspiracy, and also not have to go into this place of resistance and division. Like just the act of accepting curiosity could be a huge healing thing.
Yes.
Every
But I
angle.
think because I think underneath a lot of the conspiracy stuff, right there, and there's you'll stumble upon truth there.
Yeah,
And there seems to be no, I'm certain. Like, if there's 4 people running the world, that gives me a certainty about the world that I can rail against. But if
exactly.
the world is actually a lot more complicated, and a lot of it probably has to do with human error and greed and, willful kind of ignorant, it's like a whole host of things.
He basically was,
It's
they're not, he's like, the biggest conspiracies are not hidden.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. But I think that, like, then I'm certain. And then I think what also happens is that people say, oh, I've got a hammer. That means everything's a nail. And just because there was a fire in one region does not mean that every other fire that happens is the exact same cause.
Hmm.
Right? As an example, like, I think that rush to just simplify the world, I, I I think it comes from, oh my God, everything feels uncertain and I want to feel morally righteous. And if I
Hmm.
have this information, then I am superior. But actually I feel inferior because I don't really have all the information. But if I say this, then I do, and then I'm superior instead of actual humility.
And I notice like the people that I follow that are the most like have gone to, in my opinion, like to the far corners, the deepest
Yeah.
of things, are the people that are like the most positive,
Yeah. That's interesting.
and you're like, bro, like, how can you be this positive that the earth is flat? My obsession with
Oh,
the flat,
yeah.
but like,
Oh, the
how,
most positive. I thought you meant the most happy. You
no,
mean
no, the most,
no, the
the
most,
most,
yes.
like, they're like this one lady, she's like, and I discovered like Christian orthodoxy, and I know that this is the one true religion. And it's just like, You lack self-awareness on a level that is so deeply concerning.
Not only lack self-awareness, but also it's like there's just an avoidance of the mystery and the
Yeah.
humility. If you say that, then like, let's talk about Christianity, then you're not actually humbling yourself before God. You're not actually saying, which is the tenet of Christianity, which is like, I have sinned and I need to, Jesus died for my sins, but I am going to honestly repent and let him into my heart. Like
Yeah.
that is, but the certainty is saying like, to me, what I hear underneath that is a real fear of what happens on the other side and needing to feel like you've got the golden ticket.
Mhm.
You've got the golden ticket. Everybody else, including tribes, indigenous tribes and places we've never even, stepped foot, that the Westerner hasn't even stepped foot, hasn't even heard of Jesus or the Hebrew prophets or anything, that they're going to hell.
Yeah, they're wrong.
They're wrong. Had, it's like, I think that is, I don't know. And that's why I think I'll never be wildly, wildly, a wildly, wildly popular astrologer or whatever, because I just am not interested in certainty. I'm not interested in selling snake oil or bullshit or this is definitely what it is or what.
Like, this method works, but that
No,
is
there's many roads to Rome. And it's like, you know, I, I, I refuse to play. I can't. It goes against the very ethos of who I am to play that game of this will get you this. Said who? There's always aberrations in any experiment, any scientific experiment. There are aberrations.
and, like, look, say you have a hero and
Yeah,
you see their life and you take every single step that they took to, like, get the same thing that they get. It won't happen like that for you.
it doesn't work like that.
It
It just
doesn't work.
doesn't work like that. Like, that's the thing about an individual soul journey. And who knows why? But I do think when we encounter real hardship, is it, past life? Is it soul path? Is it God challenging in our one life on earth? I'm not going to sit here and say this is the truth of it, but I will say, okay, here's how we can work with it,
Yeah.
and here may be some of the, DNA to it, the
Mhm,
astrological DNA to it. But I just think that the more uncertain the world becomes, the more people cling to false certainty.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, and
But
eventually that ticket is up too.
it all because none of us had to get out of here alive.
Yeah. Wow, what an ending.
But I really think there's something about like in in humility, like th- the I don't know, the joy I get from like seeing a sunset, putting my feet in the grass, being
Mhm.
there with the dogs, having a cup of tea, cuddling with Daniel. Like those are, I don't know. I think it all becomes much clearer
Yeah.
where the true meaning is.
Mhm,
Helping clients. I had a client this weekend and I was like, because I go through these periods of doubt, like, what am I doing? And and being of service and is this helping? And then I had a client this weekend and I'm like, oh, that's why I do what I do.
mhm.
You know,
That's beautiful.
who knows?
With it's like we can't touch those moments 100% of the time,
No, because that's not realistic.
but it's like when you touch them, like, you just have to move through each moment with certain reminders, and then yeah, and then just I think the thing that you're talking about is also just that sense of connection. That's
Yep.
really that's the thing that moves all of us, whether it's connection to another person, to yourself, to nature, to
Whatever.
a film, to a book, to your dog, like whatever it is. It's like
Whatever.
is like that's what brings us nourishment. And I think a lot of the things that we're dealing with as far as the fragments of our society is a lack of connection. And
Across the board.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that for in every on every level, and I was thinking about this because Diane Keaton died
Oh.
So sad. And I went to her house once with Sarah. Yeah, she had a party for the book,
Mhm.
this book that she wrote called The House That Pinterest Built, which is
Yeah.
like her house on Pinterest.
Uh-huh.
And then she had like a party for all these like really cool people to come like walk through the house, and I got to go
Mhm.
with Sarah. And it was like the most magical night. And I met Diane, and we are both drinking red wine with like ice in our cups. And that was like her thing, and that was my thing. And I was like, oh, we're the same. You know, it was like, so beautiful and really like she had like no Hollywood like face, like she really had an
Oh,
impact.
she's so beautiful.
Her work is incredible, but
Yeah.
encountering her like that, I was like, whoa, like you are the standard for like aging beautifully and
Oh.
gracefully. But I was in my phone looking for that picture from that night, and I found all these other pictures from like
Uh-huh.
2018. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like the journey, the journey to the past that I've been on is so also wild. But I encountered this screenshot of this thing between me and my old writing partner, where in my pilot that we wrote, he described my character as like an Annie Hall like character.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna send this to him because it feels interesting that it's on the day that she died and whatever. And I wrote like, and we're not friends anymore because of
Mm.
the vaccine. Like I don't even know.
Mhm.
He just really stopped talking to me one day. He said it was about something else, but like I don't. But
Mhm.
anyways, I just wrote to him. I was like, found this today. Like felt appropriate, and it happened to be his birthday. And I just
Yeah.
wrote, we were a good team. And then I started reflecting on that whole time period and this whole loss of friendships, even like with Sarah, like we're not that close
Mhm.
anymore, and I hope it's not. I think it is kind of politically related. And but I was really sitting with it as I was walking. I was like, it is just so true that all these people that I'm no longer close with, I know that I have way more in common with them still than
Mhm.
I would ever care to admit. Like the
Mhm.
difference that we have
Yeah.
is so minuscule compared to all the connective tissue that we share. And I just wish that there was a way to get back to that or to find that again
Mhm. It's
because
really
so much
heartbreaking,
has been.
actually. Yeah. Yeah. I think did he respond?
No, I mean, he's not going to.
It's just kind of heartbreaking.
But it's like, I am not going to hold anger. I'm not going to hold
No,
this.
no.
I don't, so much of what we believed as separation was propagandized to us.
I
And
know. And I mean, life is long. We'll see
yeah,
how
I'm sure
people
back around.
navigate, and come around. Did you read the piece that Woody Allen wrote in the Free Press?
Yeah, so beautiful. Yeah. What
Baby
is,
Boom was my 7th birthday party. We went to go see Baby Boom. It's still one of my favorite movies of all time. But man, Manhattan. I
yeah.
still think that's Woody Allen's best, but
Yeah, I love
Manhattan,
that movie.
we're from Philadelphia. I'm from
And
Philadelphia.
she never turned on him.
She defended him to the end. No, he's still with Sunya. There's gotta be something there, right? Like, he's still
Yeah.
with him. I know someone who's actually really good friends with his daughter, and she's like the because his kids are, like, in their 20s now.
Mhm.
Those those that from that the 2 adopted,
Yeah.
and just, like, swears up and down he's, like, the best father ever. But anyway, that was such a beautiful piece, and it made me like, I just wanna go what also low key doesn't get enough attention is Manhattan Murder Mystery.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you must watch it.
Okay. I'll watch it.
You must watch it. It's like, oh,
I
it's
wanna
just
I did watch First Wives Club, but then I was like, I need more.
yeah, you gotta go down the you've seen Godfather 1 and 2?
Yes.
Yeah. But honestly, Manhattan Murder Mystery, um, Manhattan. When was the
Yeah,
last time you watched Manhattan?
probably like 20 years ago.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know. I feel like I watched it a decade ago.
maybe we'll watch that tonight.
But Manhattan Murder Mystery is just because it's more recent,
Yeah.
you know?
Hey, wait, I'm gonna write this down.
But honestly, Manhattan is like Bay's New York City in the most beautiful light you could imagine.
No, I know,
It's in black and white.
and I'm totally craving, like, more and more, like, I think we talked about this one of
Yeah,
these weeks,
older movies.
just, like, older movies that are like, I just want pre 9/11 New York City.
Oh my, so I think Manhattan Murder Mystery is it's the 90s.
1993.
Oh my God, it is. You must watch it.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it. I see it. Oh my God, I love this. This is great. Does anyone who's watching have any
Thing to say.
thing to
Any comments?
any comments or feedback or questions or engaged anything? No pressure.
No, no pressure.
Favorite Diane Keaton movie? Favorite thing you lost during the pandemic? No, I was kidding. Favorite thing you're building now? Favorite realization you've had of late? These are all
That I'm
great.
just happiest with books at home, reading long form journalism or literature.
I love
I
that.
I really am. I was a homebody growing up, big time. And then because I think I was single for so long, I kind of really stretched myself in LA
Mhm.
to be super social.
Mhm.
But and maybe it's also like mid-40s, Saturn opposition, Uranus opposition. And I'm just like, I am happiest working, reading, writing, home, watching movies, drinking tea, cooking.
Percent aligned with you. I was just thinking that yesterday. I'm like, all I want to do is like work, be in my house, and hang out with my family,
Yeah. Like,
and like, have some friends, but like it doesn't not. I don't need that to do that much.
yeah,
Like I can. I feel like I have such a fulfilled friend life, even just like digitally on the phone,
same,
that I don't even need to really like. I'm
right
also
there.
like not feeling very fun because I'm pregnant.
I'm not pregnant and I'm not feeling very fun. So all good.
It's just in the air.
It's just in the air. I'm very curious to see how February feels. Like, how does this shift? The Saturn Neptune conjunction at Aries point, and then the Aquarius eclipse, the beginning of Aquarius.
Well, it's just crazy because on like a personal note, I'm like, I'm giving birth then. Like I'm
I know
gonna
it's perfect.
full blast.
I know she's gonna be wild.
Oh
It's gonna
wow.
be amazing,
Oh my
like good
God.
wild, like not. But we'll see.
We're all scared. Love you. This was
But
great.
next week, right before you go up north,
Yeah, next week I can do can we do a little bit later next week? I'm just seeing that I have to go to an ultrasound because I was gonna get a
of course, we'll do it offline. We'll figure it
yeah,
out offline. But
I was gonna get an anatomy scan because I'm like curious what she looks like. And then they told me it was $700.
oh my God, you don't
And
need that.
I
You're
was
gonna
like,
see what she looks like soon enough.
I know, but it's just like it is literally just impatience.
Yeah.
But I'm not willing to pay such a price for my
No.
impatience.
We're good.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
like,
by the way, I should probably, and I have a retreat here if anybody is
yeah,
the 24th to the 26th. It's driving distance from Nashville. Anybody? So that deep dive on all the stuff with Paige Appel, and then yeah, I'm going to kick back up the circles, but I'm going to do it at the local yoga studio and then at my friend's place in East Nashville.
love that so much.
Yeah.
I wish I could
And then
come.
obviously the one-on-ones always. I know. I wish you could too.
And
Love you.
love you. Bye.